I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 24, and let's focus on verses 2 through 6. The servant told him, "Suppose the woman is unwilling to follow me to this land. Shall I have your son go back to the land where he came from?" Abraham answered him, "Make sure that you don't take my son back there. The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and my native land, who spoke to me and swore to me, 'I will give you this land to your offspring,' he will send his angel before you, and you can take a wife for my son from there." Some scholars suggest that the story of finding Isaac's wife is multifaceted in metaphor. In one sense, it's a historical account, and it also presents an image of God's Spirit who searches out the bride of Messiah, the church. From yet another angle, it's a practical advice for anyone desperately seeking a marriage partner. Abraham knew God's promise fully rested on Isaac's offspring. Sarah was dead, and the promise was through her womb. Abraham sent his servant Eliezer to find a wife for the unmarried Isaac. Now, Eliezer had strict orders. Number 1, trust the Lord's leading. And number 2, never take Isaac back to the land of Abraham's forefathers. In Hebrew, Eliezer means God was my help. And in this way, Eliezer is considered to be symbolic of God's Spirit, whom Jesus promised as a helper and a comforter for his bride, the church. In a similar way, God's Spirit teaches and searches the earth for those willing to accept God's invitation of spiritual marriage to Jesus. The resurrected and glorified Messiah awaits the day when his bride, the church, will be raptured and united with him. You know, I've heard some people say that God doesn't really care who you marry, as long as you both love the Lord. I don't know that I agree with that. Not only is it about the most unromantic thing that I've ever heard, but I'm not sure that it's good theology. The Bible recounts several episodes where God prepared specific people to wed each other. Today, you see Eliezer specifically being sent to Rebekah. God prepared Eve for Adam and brought her to him. And furthermore, Jesus, the bridegroom, personally died for your sin. And that means specific combinations of husbands and wives are woven throughout time just to make you, for whom Jesus died personally. So whenever you marry, you'll probably have children whom Jesus also died for personally. Of course, it matters who you marry. God's very concerned with who you choose for a mate. Whatever you do, don't go back to worldly relationships, but trust the Lord and wait on His Spirit to bring you the one that He has chosen. You might say, well, what happens if I feel like I chose wrongly and I married the wrong person? Well, trust God, because God can redeem any situation for His glory. As we learn in Romans 8:28, God works all things together for the good. So all you have to focus on is seeking the Lord, reading His Word, obeying it, and doing the next right thing. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Check us out at groundworksministries.com.